Welcome to Let's Play Prototypes. I'm Jeff from Lost Decade Games.
I'm Matt.
Also from Lost Decade Games.
Indeed.
So today we're
got
playing
some new stuff for you.
Yeah, we're playing a new version of Matt's prototype. It's called Project Skirmish. If you don't remember, check out last week's video, which hopefully this video will be slightly higher quality.
A little bit. On that note, the very first thing I did is last time we had completely ripped Link to the Past sprites, and this time we have mangled Link to the Past sprites, so it's slightly less illegal.
Yes.
But these are just placeholders because we're not ready to work on artwork yet. This is, it's a good milestone for the kind of thing we're going to go for, but I'm not even sure we're going to go with pixels. We might go with more like digital paintings for the art style.
Yeah.
But either way, it's very placeholder stuff, so this is by no means the final product.
So we both kind of decided that we wanted to start showing our prototypes more, and one of the things that went along with that was having less completely ripped art.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So why don't you tell us what is new with Project Skirmish?
So what's new from last week, probably the biggest thing is now when you use the strafe ability and you hit those left and right triggers, you actually move quite a bit more. It's a little bit more robust of a mechanic. And then also you can use it to stun your opponent. And the stun it provides is longer than the actual stun that your sword provides. So it's a pretty useful tool now. And this was done in an effort to make that mechanic something more fun to use and something more useful to the gameplay.
Do you see what I'm doing there?
Yeah, like smacking them against the wall. It's really useful when you're surrounded by goblins. You can kind of nudge, like shoulder a couple of them out of your way. And then you've got, a little bit of area cleared for combat.
You know what I noticed? Watch this. So if I chase this guy down, I can get like a 3x multiplier on his back when he's running away from me.
Yeah. So that's another big change is I kind of wanted to do this from the beginning, but, it's an iterative process. Now the damage that you deal is based on your facing relative to your opponent. So what that means is if your opponent is facing you straight on and you attack them, it's just going to be a standard 1 point of damage. But if you get your opponent from the side, you get a ×2 multiplier. And if you can get all the way behind your opponent, you get a ×3 multiplier.
And what kind of hit points are we talking about for these enemies right now?
Everything is just base 1. That's something we talk about a lot, actually, on our podcast, is what base should you start at for your health,
They're not 1, though. Like, they have some amount of hit points.
But what I mean is that you are only ever dealing 1 point of damage, right? It's not like Crypt Run where the base is 10. You start off by dealing 10 points of damage, and it kind of scales up from there. So far, in this prototype, things are very simple. The health is per goblin. So I believe the Goblin Warriors, those red guys, they have 5 points of health. And the Goblin Archer, I think right now only has 3.
I see. And then what about the healers?
The healers, I think, are at 4, but I'm not really sure. And none of these numbers are completely solid yet. You know what I mean? They're kind of rough guesses, and I've been playtesting a little bit, and they feel okay, but they're definitely, everything you see basically is up for changing. So those numbers will change.
I almost got the archers to shoot each other.
Yeah, they will attack if there's like no one in their immediate path, even though a goblin could be, very shortly. Like if a goblin is running into their path, they'll go ahead and launch an arrow anyway.
Yeah. Man,
they don't look ahead.
I'm ripping through this game.
It's significantly easier now that there are damage bonus because you end up dealing double damage pretty often, and once in a while you can get in a triple shot. So you're a lot more powerful, and your strafing ability actually is useful as well. So the player is significantly more powerful in this version.
I haven't really been using this strafe.
Yeah. So another big thing I added is the grass and the water, and they both slow you down when you walk through them. The difference is that I think the water adds more slowing, but also that the grass can be destroyed.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, you can destroy it.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's kind of good. It gives you the choice, right?
Can the warrior goblins destroy the grass as well?
Yes.
Nice. But the arrows won't.
The arrows will not, correct. The arrows will fly over the grass, and then anything else can destroy it.
Ow.
So I've noticed you're already doing a lot better than last week.
Yes. Although I am This one is pretty tough. Mostly because it just keeps... I have to be a little more careful because there's a lot of waves.
Right.
Oh, man. See, that was bullshit. That was cheap damage.
Which one was?
That first hit. Ow. Not that one.
I'm at like 1 frame per second, so I can't really follow what you're doing.
Well, we're still trying to figure out
We're still ironing things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although hopefully for the viewers at home.
The cheap damage should be obvious. What? So describe it to me, though.
Well, I went and I attacked a archer, and I hit him, but as he was getting hit, he shot an arrow at me, and my sword didn't kill the arrow. The arrow hit me.
Ah, I see. Okay. Yeah, that would be cheap damage. Interesting.
I feel
that's
like
something
it's
else.
kind of just like an ordering of collisions or something.
Yeah, that should be fixable. I also added some slight forward momentum to the player's attack when you are pressing in that direction. So if you're just standing there and you're not moving and you're pressing the attack button, the attack is just like normal. But if you're pressing, say, to the right and you attack to the right, then your character will kind of get this nudge forward and your attack area will move forward as well.
That sounds cool. I'm going to skip to
It's
Battle
subtle,
8.
but it feels pretty good. Yeah, do it. So this is the last new thing. There's actually something else I added, but it's not in the game.
Holy crap.
now.
What is this thing?
But yeah, this is kind of a boss encounter. And this is the first area, I think, where strafing is really necessary. Because in other parts of the game, it's a useful tool, but you don't have to use it. But here, it's almost if you don't use it, you're going to have a really hard time with this boss.
I don't like it.
It's very challenging.
Well, I mean, I don't like the strafing mechanic.
I see.
It's still, I don't know. I can't get past the fact that basically we had this idea that it would be fun to use the left and right triggers as relative strafing controls.
Right.
The strafing action in the game feels cool, and I like the mechanics of it, but the control scheme for said mechanic, I think, still leaves a lot to be desired.
It's really just the fact that it changes based on your facing direction, right?
Yeah, it's like I feel like I have no control over the strafing.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, it's something you could possibly get used to. It's kind of like when I played this game Bleed, which is an interesting game, but the way that it works, the controls are very non-standard.
Right.
And I just couldn't... Hey, I killed him.
Nice.
I'm amazing.
Hey, you learned. I love boss encounters like that where they really tear you up when you first get to them, you know?
Yeah.
But then you beat them after a little bit. Those boss fights, I think they feel the best.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. The warriors are the most deadly.
Yeah, they're pretty gross.
Everything else, interestingly enough, you know, you'd think that the archers would be, you know, more of a problem because they have range on you.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the fact that the warriors are just like, you know, positioning is an issue, you know?
Yeah. Well, so they walk faster, and they also give you less of a warning. So the archers move much slower. And also, when you're close to the archer, they turn their back to you and they run away. And it's really easy to backstab them there. So the warriors are just much more aggressive. Even though they don't have the benefit of projectile attacks, they end up being a much deadlier opponent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Well,
they're probably not balanced that great right now, actually, because I think that I probably want the Goblin Archer and the Goblin Warrior to feel about the same difficulty-wise. They just have different types of attacks.
Oh, it's cool. So the archer shot an arrow, and the warrior, it was going towards the warrior, and the warrior was attacking me, and he deflected the archer's arrow coming at him.
Nice.
His attack towards me. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's something else I added. Man, I'm surprised. I actually got a bunch of stuff in here in the last week. It's all, I feel like it's mostly subtle stuff, you know, like when you're playing the game, there's not, I don't know, it's not terribly different, right? In fact, all the levels are actually the same, except for that last one with the boss encounter. But that was one thing I really wanted to get in there, is because it's, in the last version, an archer would shoot at you, and you kind of strike the arrow out of the air, which is kind of neat. You can block with your weapon, right? But there's no reason, really, to put yourself in danger like that. It's much easier to dodge than it is to attack the arrow. So I thought it would be much more interesting if, when you attack the arrow, it turns into a projectile and you deflect it. So there's a now incentive for you to put yourself in the line of fire.
Oh, wait. So you can deflect an arrow into an enemy now?
Yes. So go to Battle 3. That's the one where it's just an archer, and it shows you, like, hey, you know,
Oh, hey, that's cool.
here's an archer by themselves. Yeah, isn't that fun? And this is something too that's got that really great harmony we've been talking about, where, like, you saw earlier, goblin warriors can also slash arrows out of the air, and they become projectiles, going in different directions. And when a goblin warrior does that, the arrow that they deflect could hit you or a goblin.
Interesting.
Thought that feature was a big win. And there's going to be a bunch of different other types of goblins too. Like the ones that get on your axis and shoot single arrows at you. That's just going to be one of many. There's going to be probably ones that have spread shots or multi shots or something like that. We'll have to see what makes sense.
That sounds amazing. This is really fun. I like how this is coming along.
Great. Good to hear.
Good job, Matt.
Yay. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, that's Matt's Project Skirmish. Join us next week for another episode.
Ship it.